HIV stands for Human Immunodeficiency Virus. It is a virus that specifically targets and attacks the body's immune system, which is our natural defense against infections and diseases. The immune system is composed of various cells and proteins that work together to protect the body from harmful invaders like bacteria, viruses, and other pathogens. When HIV enters the body, it targets and destroys a type of white blood cell called CD4 cells, which are crucial for immune function. As HIV weakens the immune system by reducing the number of CD4 cells, it becomes increasingly difficult for the body to fight off infections and diseases. AIDS stands for Acquired Immunodeficiency Syndrome. It is the most advanced stage of HIV infection, characterized by a severely weakened immune system. When a person has AIDS, their immune system is so damaged that they become highly susceptible to opportunistic infections and certain cancers. These opportunistic infections are illnesses that take advantage of the weakened immune system and can be life-threatening. Infections that are usually harmless in people with healthy immune systems can become severe and even fatal for those with AIDS. HIV is a type of virus called a retrovirus. Retroviruses store their genetic information as RNA instead of DNA. When HIV infects a cell, it uses an enzyme called reverse transcriptase to convert its RNA into DNA, which is then integrated into the host cell's DNA. This integration allows the virus to take control of the host cell and turn it into a factory for producing more HIV. It is important to understand that having HIV is not the same as having AIDS. People can live with HIV for many years without developing AIDS. With proper medical care and treatment, people with HIV can manage the virus effectively and lead long, healthy lives. Advances in medical treatments have made it possible for people with HIV to maintain a high quality of life and prevent the progression to AIDS. Understanding the difference between HIV and AIDS is crucial for reducing stigma and promoting effective treatment and prevention strategies. With ongoing research and advancements in medicine, there is hope for a future where HIV can be effectively controlled and eventually eradicated. With proper medical care and treatment, people with HIV can live long and healthy lives. HIV is transmitted through certain body fluids. These fluids include blood, semen, vaginal fluids, and breast milk. The virus can enter the body through cuts or sores in the skin, as well as through the mucous membranes found in the rectum, vagina, penis, and mouth. HIV can be spread through sexual contact. This is the most common way HIV is transmitted. It can happen through unprotected anal, vaginal, or oral sex with an infected person. Sharing needles. Sharing needles or syringes used to inject drugs is a very risky behavior. It allows infected blood to enter directly into the bloodstream. Mother-to-child transmission HIV can be passed from a mother to her child during pregnancy, childbirth, or breastfeeding. However, this risk can be greatly reduced with proper medical care. It is important to remember that HIV cannot be spread through casual contact. This means you cannot get HIV from hugging, kissing, sharing food, or using the same toilet as someone who has HIV. HIV infection progresses through three main stages. Acute HIV infection. This is the earliest stage of HIV infection. People may experience flu-like symptoms such as fever, headache, rash, and swollen lymph nodes. These symptoms usually appear within 2 to 4 weeks of infection. However, some people may not experience any symptoms at all. During this stage, the virus is multiplying rapidly in the body. The high viral load makes it easier to transmit the virus to others during this period. Chronic HIV infection. This stage is also known as clinical latency. During this stage, the virus continues to multiply but at a much slower rate than in the acute stage. People in this stage may have no symptoms or only mild symptoms. This stage can last for many years, even decades, with proper treatment. Regular medical checkups and adherence to antiretroviral therapy are essential to manage the infection effectively. Acquired Immunodeficiency Syndrome, AIDS. This is the most advanced stage of HIV infection. It occurs when the immune system is severely damaged. People with AIDS are very vulnerable to opportunistic infections and cancers. These infections and cancers rarely occur in people with healthy immune systems. Without treatment, people with AIDS typically survive about 3 years. It is important to note that the progression of HIV infection varies from person to person. Some people may progress through the stages quickly, while others may live for many years with HIV without developing AIDS. Early diagnosis and treatment are crucial for slowing the progression of the disease. Regular monitoring and a healthy lifestyle can also help manage the condition effectively. There are several things you can do to protect yourself and others from HIV infection. Abstinence. The most effective way to prevent HIV infection is to abstain from sexual activity. Be faithful. Being in a mutually monogamous relationship with an uninfected partner is another effective way to prevent HIV transmission. Use condoms. If you are sexually active, use condoms correctly every time you have sex. Condoms act as a barrier, preventing the exchange of body fluids. Get tested. Know your HIV status by getting tested regularly. Early diagnosis and treatment are essential for managing the infection and preventing transmission. Don't share needles. Never share needles or syringes used to inject drugs. If you use injection drugs, seek help from a healthcare professional about safer injection practices. By following these preventive measures, you can significantly reduce your risk of contracting or transmitting HIV. Section 5. Treatment options for HIV. There is no cure for HIV, but there are effective treatments available that can manage the infection and help people with HIV live long and healthy lives. Antiretroviral therapy, or RT, is the standard treatment for HIV. ART involves taking a combination of medications that work to suppress the virus and prevent it from multiplying. ART helps to reduce the amount of HIV in the body, known as the viral load. It also increases the number of CD4 cells, which are white blood cells that fight infection. Additionally, ART improves the immune system's ability to fight off infections, reduces the risk of developing AIDS, and helps prevent the transmission of HIV to others. It is important for people with HIV to start ART as soon as possible after diagnosis, and to take their medications exactly as prescribed. With proper adherence to ART, people with HIV can live long and healthy lives. Section 6. The global impact of HIV/AIDS. HIV/AIDS is a global pandemic that has had a devastating impact on individuals, families, and communities worldwide. Since the beginning of the epidemic in the early 1980s, more than 75 million people have been infected with HIV, and an estimated 36 million people have died from AIDS-related illnesses. Sub-Saharan Africa is the region most affected by HIV/AIDS. The region is home to about 10% of the world's population, but accounts for more than 60% of all people living with HIV. The high prevalence of HIV in sub-Saharan Africa is driven by a number of factors, including poverty, lack of access to health care, gender inequality, and stigma surrounding HIV. The HIV/AIDS epidemic has had a profound impact on global health and development. It has strained healthcare systems, orphaned millions of children, and slowed economic growth in many countries. Section 7. Advancements in HIV/AIDS treatment and research. Significant progress has been made in the fight against HIV/AIDS since the beginning of the epidemic. From the early days of fear and uncertainty, we have come a long way in understanding and managing this virus. The development of effective antiretroviral therapy, or ART, has transformed HIV from a death sentence into a manageable chronic condition. This breakthrough has saved countless lives and continues to be a cornerstone of HIV treatment. In recent years, there have been several promising advancements in HIV/AIDS treatment and research, including new and improved RT regimens. These advancements are making treatment more accessible and effective for people living with HIV. Researchers are constantly working to develop new and improved ART medications that are more effective, easier to take, and have fewer side effects. Long-acting ART formulations are a significant step forward in this regard. Long-acting injectable formulations of ART are now available, allowing people with HIV to receive their medication less frequently, which can improve adherence. This innovation is particularly beneficial for those who struggle with daily pill regimens. HIV prevention strategies, pre-exposure prophylaxis or PrEP, is a medication that can reduce the risk of HIV infection in people who are at high risk. This preventive measure has been a game changer in reducing new HIV infections. Gene editing technologies. Scientists are exploring the use of gene editing technologies such as CRISPR-Cas9 to develop a cure for HIV. This cutting-edge research holds the potential to eradicate the virus at its source. These advancements offer hope for a future free from HIV/AIDS. With continued research and innovation, we move closer to a world where HIV is no longer a threat to global health. Section 8. Living with HIV Stigma and Support. Despite the progress made in HIV/AIDS treatment and prevention, stigma and discrimination continue to be major challenges for people living with HIV. Stigma can prevent people from getting tested, disclosing their status, and accessing treatment and care. It is important to remember that HIV is a manageable chronic condition. People with HIV can live long and healthy lives. People with HIV deserve compassion, understanding, and support. There are many resources available to help people living with HIV cope with stigma and access the support they need. Support groups, community organizations, and healthcare providers can provide information, counseling, and other forms of assistance. Section 9. A future free from HIV/AIDS. The world has made remarkable progress in the fight against HIV/AIDS. With continued research, innovation, and global cooperation, we can achieve a future free from this devastating disease. By working together, we can expand access to HIV testing and treatment, implement effective HIV prevention programs, address stigma and discrimination, and support people living with HIV. The end of the HIV/AIDS epidemic is within reach. Let us continue to work together to make this vision a reality.